MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make our jumbo snowman. The pattern includes 3 sizes, our small, medium, and large, so we have this adorable snowman family. I'll be working through the medium-sized snowman in this tutorial. Check the description box below the video for all the supplies you're going to need. You'll need some black buttons. These are 35mm, but you can feel free to use any size. The safety eyes are 12mm. You're going to need polyester fill to stuff the snowman. So I purchased a 65-ounce bag, which is a fair size, and I used all of that to do the stuffing for the 3 snowmen. I also used some beads to have a weighted bag in the bottom of the snowman. So you can just use a Ziploc bag, give it a little bit of weight to the bottom, and you can use rice, sand, really anything just to give that base a little bit of weight. You can just find some sticks in the yard or go on a nature walk. And then for the yarn, we're using Bernat Softee Chunky. This is a super bulky weight number 6 yarn, and I'm using obviously white for the body, and I use 3 different colors for the scarves. And you can do the black hat, you can do a gray hat, really whatever you prefer, and a little bit of pumpkin for the carrot nose. We'll be using a 6.5mm crochet hook for this pattern, and this is a streamline metal hook from Furls Crochet. So with our 6.5mm hook, we're going to start with a magic ring. Wrap the yarn around your index finger 3 times, take your hook, sliding it through all 3 loops, take your first loop and pull it through. Chain 1. We're going to begin with 10 half double crochet in the ring. Okay, now once you have your 10 stitches, just push your work out of the way so you can see these loops. You're going to take your tail, start to pull it. Only one loop pulls in, so grab the loop that's pulling, give it a tug, it's going to pull the other loop tight, then you can just take your tail and pull. Now we're going to start working through the back loop only, and we're also going to be increasing. So in the back loop of the first stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochet. And we'll add the marker and 2 single crochet in every stitch around. So we're going from 10 to 20. It's always a good idea to count, make sure that you're on track with your stitch count. Okay, so I have 20 stitches. We're going to continue to increase. So this round, our increase pattern will go like this. So 1 in the back loop of the first stitch, and then 2 in the next stitch. And I'm going to continue to mark the first stitch of every round. So this stitch. So 1 in the next, 2 in the next. So this round will also go up by 10 stitches. So we'll go from 20 to 30. Okay, so I worked all the way around. I have 30 stitches. I just removed my marker. And the next round we'll work 1 in the first 2. And we're doing single crochets through the back loop only for this entire pattern. So we have 2, and then we do 2 stitches together. So 1 in each of the next 2. And then 2 in the next. 1 in each of the next 2, and then 2 in the next. So we're going to continue with this all the way around, increasing from 30 to 40 stitches. Okay, so our next round, we'll be doing 3 and then the increase. So you can see how the increase is working. Every round is going up by 10 stitches. So we have 1 additional single crochet before the increase. So 1, 2, 3. I'll add my marker. And then the increase. So 2 in the next. 1 in each of the next 3. And then 2 in the next. And continue with that pattern all the way around. So we're going from 40 to 50 stitches. Okay, so our next round, we're going to work 4 stitches and then do the increase. So I'm going to work 2, add my marker. There's 3, 4, and then the increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll do the increase. So I'm going to continue with that all the way around, and we'll be going from 50 to 60 stitches. Okay, so I completed that round. Our next round, we're going to work 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the increase. Then we'll do 5 and then the increase. So we're going from 60 to 70 stitches. So I'm going to continue working this around. Okay, so we've increased to 70 stitches. This is going to be the last increase. So we're going to work 6 stitches and then do the increase. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the increase. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Okay, so I've now increased up to 80 stitches. We are going to work a total now of 16 rounds at 80 stitches. So keep track as you go of your rounds so you don't lose. Now we can always count. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it isn't difficult to count with the ridges, but if you need to, just keep track as you go. So we're going to work an additional 16 rounds at 80 stitches. And we won't be doing any more increasing. So this will take a little bit to complete. So I'm going to go ahead and get working my 16 rounds. And once I have them complete, we'll meet back up again. Okay, so I've completed my 16 rounds and now we're going to do some decreases. So we're going to decrease down to a total of 40 stitches. So we're going to have 4 decrease rounds. So we'll work 1 in each of the next 6. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to decrease the next 2 stitches together. So go through, pull up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So we'll do 1 in each of the next 6. And then we'll decrease across the next 2. Pull through all 3. And we'll repeat this all the way around. Okay, so the next round, we're going to work 5 stitches and then the decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll do the decrease across the next 2. So go through, pull up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a decrease. And we'll repeat this all the way around. Okay, so we've reduced to 60 stitches. We're going to do another decrease round. So this time we'll do 4 stitches. Okay, I'll mark the first stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll do a decrease across the next 2. So there's 4, and then decrease the next 2. And I'll repeat this around. Okay, so we've reduced to 50 stitches, and we're going to do 1 more decrease round. So we'll work 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do the decrease. So 1 in each of the next 3. And then a decrease. And I'll repeat this all the way around, reducing to 40 stitches. So now we're going to start increasing again. We're going to increase up to 70 stitches. So we're going to be creating the second snowball of our snowman. So we're going to work in the first 3 stitches. And then we're going to increase the next stitch. So 1 in each of the next 3. And then 2 in the next. Okay, and I'm going to repeat around just like this, going up to 50 stitches. Okay, so now we're going to increase to 60 stitches. So we are going to work 1 in each of the first 4. And then 2 in the next stitch. 1 in each of the next 4. And then 2 in the next. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Okay, so we're going to have one more increase round. So we're going to work 5 and then do the increase. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the next stitch, we're doing the increase. We're going to repeat this all the way around. We're going to be up to 70 stitches, and then we're going to do 14 rounds at 14 stitches, and then we'll decrease again, and then we'll make the last snowball, which will be the head of the snowman. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. We're up to 70 stitches. So now I'm going to go ahead and work 14 rounds at 70 stitches. So no more increasing. And once I get that complete, we'll meet back up again for the next step. Okay, so I've completed my 14 rounds at 70 stitches, and we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to work 1 in each of the next 5. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll decrease across the next 2. 1 in each of the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease across the next 2. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around, reducing to 60 stitches. Okay, so we've worked all the way around, reducing to 60 stitches. We're going to do another decrease round. So this time we'll work 4. So there's 2. 3, 4, and then decrease across the next 2. So this time we'll be reducing to 50 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. Okay, I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Okay, so we've reduced to 50 stitches. We're going to continue to do another decrease. So this time we're going to work 1 in each of the next 3. And then we'll decrease the next 2. One in each of the next 3. And then decrease the next 2. And we'll reduce to 40 stitches. So I'm going to continue to work this all the way around, and we'll do one more decrease after this. Okay, so we're going to do our final decrease. So work 1 in each of the next 2. And then decrease across the next 2. So we'll reduce this round to 30 stitches. So 1, 2, and then decrease. So I'm going to continue working this around, and then we'll meet back up again. Okay, so I've worked all that around, and we're going to add some buttons before we progress too far. So I'm looking at just placing them. So I folded this down so that this is at the back, So we'll make this the front. And I want to add just 2 buttons to our smallest snowman. So about in here. You could always do this after, but it's much easier if we can get to the inside. So I'm going to use some of the black yarn to sew these on. So use your yarn needle. Make sure the yarn needle that you use is going to go through your buttonholes. This one is a little tight, but it'll go through. So we can just go to the inside. So it's good to do this at this point before we move on. You could also start stuffing him at this point, but it is a little easier to work with if we leave the stuffing as long as we can. We can still get down through here, no problem. Okay, so have his buttons. We can just knot this to the inside, and I'm just going to give this a trim. Okay, and then I'm going to add another button. Okay, so I finished putting the buttons on the front, and we're going to continue now. So we're going to start increasing again for our next snowball, which will be the head of the snowman. So we're going to work 1 in each of the next 2. And 2 in the next. One in each of the next 2. And then 2 in the next. So we're going to repeat this all the way around. We're going to increase to 40 stitches, and we're going to keep increasing till we get up to 60. Okay, so we've worked that around. This time we'll do 1 in each of the next 3. And then an increase in the next 2. Whoops. 1 in each of the next 3. And then an increase. Okay, so I've worked that around, and now the last increase. So 1 in each of the next 4. So I'm just mark this. So there's 2, 3, 4, and then we have 2. So we're going up to now 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. So I'm going to work this all the way around, and then we're going to do 12 rounds at 60 stitches. Okay, so I've worked up to 60 stitches, so now we can do our 12 rounds at 60 stitches. So it's just going to be 1 in every stitch around. You can keep track of those rounds, and then when we have the 12 rounds complete, we'll meet up again. And like I say, you can start stuffing this, but I'm going to I just find it a little easier to work before I get it stuffed. So I'm just going to keep working these rounds. And then before we start decreasing, we'll start stuffing. Okay, so I'm using these stuffing pellets. You can really decide what you want to stuff the snowman with, but it is a really good idea to weight the bottom of the snowman with something. So you could use craft sand, you could use rice, really anything that you have. I'm just using a Ziploc bag to put it in, so it's going to be secured with whatever you use. So this I purchased from Amazon, and I will make sure to link that for you as well. So this is just going to help to stabilize the bottom. You can add as much as you want. You may want to add a little bit more for the larger sizes, but this is probably a good amount for the size that we're working on. And you want to just make sure that you seal this, get all the air out. Okay, and then we're going to put this, you can always double bag it if you're worried. Just put this inside, and it's just going to give us that extra weight to the bottom. And then we can start adding our polyester fill to stuff these. So this is a 64-ounce bag that I'm using. It contains smaller bags inside, and I like to purchase these from Walmart, and I just have it on hand so that I can use it for my projects. Okay, so next I want to add some safety eyes in before we start decreasing this. These are 12mm size. Now I purchased a kit, so you can have a variety of different sizes. You could always add a little mouth if you want. I'm going to omit that on mine, but it's up to you. The safety eyes are a good way to add on a mouth and the eyes if you want. So I'm going to secure that. Now, from the 12 rounds that we did after the increase, this would be 12, 11, 10, 9. So I'm doing about the 9th here, the 9th round. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches between the eyes. But you're welcome to play around with that and adjust as you want. And I have worked up a little carrot nose, and I will show you how to do it. So we can put it like this, or if you want it down like this, really, it's up to you how you attach it. Again, you can always add your own little spin. I will show you how to crochet this up. It's good to get all of that done and attached. And if you're going to add a little mouth, you can play around with getting a nice little curve, putting your nose on, and then you can just adjust the face before we finish off. Okay, so now what you want to do is follow along with your pattern. We are going to continue to decrease. I'm not going to show you all of our decrease rounds because it is going to get a little trickier now that he's stuffed to show you. But we're going to be decreasing the same type of decrease patterns we've been doing, but now we're going from 60 right down to 10. So we're going to start with 4 and then we'll do a decrease. So 1, 2, and then we'll decrease the next 2. Whoops. There's 2, so 3, 4. And then we'll decrease the next 2. So we'll do 4 and then a decrease. The next round we'll do 3 stitches and then a decrease, decreasing to 40. We'll then work 2 stitches and then a decrease, decreasing to 30. Then we'll do 1 stitch and then a decrease, repeating that around, and we'll reduce down to 20. And at that point, I'll meet you back up. Okay, so I did add a third button. Overall, I just think it needed one more, so I just added that in. I just pulled some stuffing out and made sure to knot that in behind. And just make sure that you are happy with the stuffing before you close him up. I know it can be a little tricky to get it all looking perfect. Just keep fiddling with it, stuffing it down. The firmer you make him, I think the more it kind of smooths everything out. And now to finish the top of the head, we're now going to be decreasing. This is a little tricky to get on camera at this point. So we're going through the next two, working that decrease. Decreasing across the next two. We're going to do this all the way around, reducing to 10 stitches. Okay, then what I'm going to do is use my yarn needle. We're just going to weave through the front loops of every stitch around. Again, it's a little hard to get this into the camera, but we're just going to take our yarn needle and go through the front loops of every stitch. And then we can just pull the top of the head closed. So that should just pull closed, and then you're just going to finish by doing some additional weaving. Weave one way and then go back in the opposite direction. So the carrot nose, we're going to use some orange yarn, make a magic ring, slide our hook through, chain one, and I'm going to work 6 single crochet in the ring. Then we'll pull our ring tight. So take your tail, give that a tug, we'll pull that loop in, and then give the tail a tug. So we'll work in a continuous round. We'll use our stitch marker. So I'm going to work one, the back loop of the next 6. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to increase the next round. So I'm going to work 1, 2, so single crochets in the back loop, and then we're going to do 2 in the next. 1, whoops, 2. 1 in the back loop of the next 2, and then 2 in the next. So we've increased to 8 stitches, and now I'm just going to work 1 in every stitch around in the back loop though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just going to trim that tail. Going to slip stitch in the next 2. 1, 2, and I'm going to fasten off with a tail for sewing. Just have my yarn needle. I'm just going to go through. Okay, so then we'll just take the nose and you can sew it. And you just want to make sure that you're sewing it nice and even right between his eyes. Okay, and I will sew that all the way around. Okay, so I'm using the wine for the scarf. We're going to start out with a slip knot, chain 7, and I'm going to work through the back bumps of the chain. So in the second chain from the hook, you just give it a turn to the side, you'll see that little back bump, and we're going to work a half double crochet. And I'll work half double crochets in the back bumps across. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1 and turn. And in each stitch across, we'll just work half double crochets. So the scarf will be really simple. Just worked in half double crochet stitches. We're just going to be going back and forth in rows. And for this size, we're going to do a total of 61 rows. So chain 1 and turn, our chain 1's not included as a stitch, work 6 stitches across. So go ahead and work up a total of 61, or your desired length to go around the snowman's neck, and then we're going to meet back up again. I fastened off, and then we can weave in these tails. And then next we're going to add a little bit of fringe to each of the ends. So I'm going to attach a piece of fringe for each stitch. So I'm going to need 12 in total, and I'm going to measure off 8 inches. So 12 pieces at 8 inches. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're not going to be perfect, but we will trim them up at the end to make sure that they're all even. So I just snip all of the loops. Then you can take your piece of fringe, fold it in half. I like my right side facing, so you're going to notice that you can see the edge. You can see the nice loops of the stitch, where if you look at it this way, you're not going to notice them the same. So we know that this is the right side. Okay, so going through each stitch, just push your hook through, grab the loop. Then you're going to take the tails, pulling it through the loop and knot. So fold it in half, put your hook through the stitch, grab the loop, pull it through, then pull the tails through the loop and tighten. And I'm going to do that for all of the stitches. So 6 on this end and 6 on the other end. Okay, and then when you get this done, you can just give it a nice even trim. Okay, we'll set this aside and we'll work on the hat. So I'm going to use gray for the hat. It'll make it a little bit easier to see, but you can do it in any color you want or in the black like the other snowman that I show. So we're going to start out with that magic ring. And I'm going to work 12 half double crochet in the ring. Okay, we'll pull that ring tight. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to slip stitch to join in the first half double crochet, chain 1, and now we'll work 2 into every stitch around, 2 half double crochets. Okay, so we'll slip stitch in our first half double crochet to join. You should have 24 stitches. Chain 1, we'll work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, 2 in the next. So 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. So we'll work that all the way around, increasing to 36 stitches. Okay, so we'll slip stitch to join, chain 1, and now I'm going to work 1 in the back loop of every stitch around. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to work a total of 36 stitches around, going through the back loops only. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch to join, and I'm going to work a total of 5 rounds. So this one here is going to count as the first, so I'm going to do 4 more, and then we'll work on the brim. So we're just working now through the full stitch, so 1 half double in every stitch around at 36 stitches. Okay, so I've worked the 5 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to start the brim. Chain 1, and I'm going to work single crochet through the back loop of the first, 2 in the next. So 1 single crochet the back loop of the next, 2 single crochet in the back loop of the next, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. Okay, so we should have a total of 54 stitches. Slip stitch to join, chain 1, and now we're going to work a half double crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so I'm doing another round on the brim, and I'm just working a half double crochet into every stitch around. And we're going to finish it off with a seamless join. Okay, so we can fasten off. So go under both loops of the first stitch and go through the back loop of the last stitch. And then we can just weave in those tails. Okay, so now we're going to make a tie to go around the hat, and I'm going to chain out a total of 80. Fasten that off. Now you can always test to see if your length is good before we weave in these tails. To take the hat, and we're going to tie this around into a bow. I like to give it a little pull to pull the hat in a little bit. Okay, so that's looking okay at that length. I'm a little bit uneven, so I'm just going to fiddle with this to get it to look. When I'm weaving the tail, I just like to go through, kind of just weave it through the back bumps of the chain. So you can add different embellishments to your hat, so really feel free to customize it how you like it. I added this cute little poinsettia. It just has a little twist tag that you can attach it to the hat. So I ended up going with that for my hats because I thought that was a little cute touch, but feel free to decorate your hat how you want. So next you're going to want to add some arms to your snowman. I just stuck the stick through the stitches. These arms are approximately 9 inches. I just went out in the yard to find some sticks, but you could go on a little nature walk, or if you have a yard yourself, just take a look and find some smaller, thinner sticks that you can add for the arms. Now you can use a little bit of glue, hot glue also, to attach the hat if you want it to stay in place. Or you could use a stitch just to hold it in place as well, or have it that it is removable and you can take it on or off the snowman. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the links to supplies and the pattern. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.